Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we're going to have a quick look at the new build of GIMP. So this is GIMP 2.10, and there's a ton of functions and features that really GIMP just kind of went all out. As far as I can tell, we're still missing a couple tiny little things like the layer properties that are big in Photoshop, and Krita supports them. I don't think those are in this GIMP, but there's just so many other things, particularly if you use GIMP for painting. Tons of new features for that. I'm not even going to be able to cover everything. I'm just going to kind of do a quick surface review over the things that we can do. So what we're going to do here is we're going to be looking at this inside of a virtual box. This is just because I didn't want to have to put it on this machine for basic testing purposes. Now I installed this with the app image, with the Flatpak, excuse me. I installed this with the Flatpak. Just go right to their main website. And in fact, let's just go ahead and have a quick look at their website. I just installed this virtual machine. I never ran updates or anything, so I don't know what we're going to get. Let's do the quick search for GIMP. Here's your official site. And then you can download the new version here. We can check out the release notes. And there's a lot of functionality that they've added. There's more color formatting. Like I believe the older versions did not support CMYK coloration. Those do now, which basically means that GIMP is now better for doing things for print documents instead of just online documents. I've heard that was in the other one. I don't do a ton of brochures. There are new icon packs and things. We'll kind of get into what some of those are. There's actually a lot new tools. New scaling tools, so you can actually scale the size. It also now supports multi-threading, and so if you have a bigger, beefier processor, there's a whole lot more supporting, multi-threading support. Just so many improvements. High bit, 24 bit per color channel precision now enabled. There's multi-threading. You can do GPU side processing. If you happen to have a good graphics card, you can do some of that in there. Just so many functions and features that it is just brought so much closer to where Photoshop was. And honestly, I always considered GIMP to be just as good anyway, but they've just kind of made it absolutely incredible. You're going to want to read the release notes. So you can actually get in here and figure out what some of these things do and read about some of the tips. We're going to look at just a few of the new tools. They've actually fixed some of the old tools that weren't working quite as well. You can now apply layer masks to entire groups of things. Just so many things making it good. Apparently I can't play those particular videos. So let's go ahead and boot this guy up, shall we? You'll see in here, actually, I have two versions of GIMP installed. This first one is the one that is, this is the 2.8. This one down here is the 2.10. So we're going to go ahead and boot this up. The first thing is you get a brand new splash screen that is just gorgeous. It still does default. Somebody said it doesn't, but it does still default to your ugly mode like this. I don't know why. Just come down here, turn on single mode. I've also edited the theme. I really like the old icons on the old setup. It's colorful. I like colorful views. To me, it helps. But let me show you how it looks when you first install it, which is also how you make adjustments. It is installed with a dark theme by default. You want to just come down here to themes, and there is a dark option. And then you can adjust your icons. You can adjust your icons as well. So symbolic is the default. So this is what it's going to look like out of the box. So you have your nice dark theme on here, and I'm gonna go ahead and move me a little bit so that I'm not over top of those tools. All right, so here is what it looks like out of default. As much as there's times and places I really like dark themes, I love it's an option. I'm not a huge fan of this style of the boxes, but to each his own. You just adjust those by going to Edit, Preferences, and then Theme. You have a few different options. So you have this option. Of course, you can use this with your inverted themes if you want to do a theming like this. You have the system, which is pretty much themes it up just like my current setup. So here we have, oh, let me go back to system. And then looking at your icon packs, you can use your different icon packs. The legacy are the ones that I like. We also have the color option. So you have a couple different options for your theming right out of the box. I actually prefer the light theming. Actually, I like the system theming better. I think that's what I've had it set up with the legacy icons. So that's my default. And then, of course, down here, I'm not sure you can do it for... Okay, yep, here it is. You can use the icons, custom icon size, use icon size for the theme. So here you can adjust your icon size. It's not a full scalable, but you can actually go really big with the icon sizes. I'll put it on large. I ordinarily would not do that, but I'll do that so that it's going to make it easier to see things as I'm going through this. Here's your toolboxes. Okay, system resources, minimum level of undos, so you can adjust your undo levels, maximum undo memory, cache size, number of threads to use. It does not stop at the number of threads on your system. I think this computer, my VirtualBox, has 4 cores. I think there's 4 threads available. Sizing of your thumbnails, so you can pick your thumbnail sizes. Let's see, you can keep your history over there. Let's see what else we have. I have not gone through all of this, so I'm not an expert at all of the different changes and things. I've watched a few different videos, read through some of the documentation, so we're just going to go ahead and have a look at some of the options. Your defaults, appearances. All right. Whoa, I hit cancel. Don't hit cancel. Note to self if you're changing your themes around. All right, so here, oh, and let me go ahead and change the font sizes, or the icon sizes back to normal. So, all right, bring those back up to large. All right, so as we are doing things here, let's just go ahead and let's create a new image. So under creating a new image, let's see, we have some advanced options. Here's your resolutions, color space. I guess it does only support RGB. I thought it was would support more than that. It might be another setting somewhere else, though. Some of the guys that use GIMP on a very regular basis were saying it did things a little bit different. All right, so here we have our basic system. Now, we'll go in here and just enter in a little bit of text. The first thing, I'm just going to show you the first thing that I really like about this is your selecting is a little bit different. I kind of like the older way it's selected better than this, but is that 196? All right. So one of the functions and features I use a lot is I'll actually add things like your drop shadows and stuff like that. So now we actually have a much better preview of pretty much everything. And everything previews on this now, very much like Photoshop. But you used to actually kind of have to be a crapshoot, kind of guessing what you would do with it. So of course now we'll just kind of come over here and let's do a 10 and a 10. Here we can do kind of a symmetrical and then our blur radius. So here's kind of what our preview is going to look like, make it red, things like that. Now, one of the things that will happen here is now instead of adding an extra layer, it will actually drop this directly onto the layer by default. Now, this has with it a couple of goods and bads. The good part about this is now I can actually, I can actually move my layer around without having to worry about all of the old drop shadow layers that used to be. The downside is editing the text. So if I have this exactly the way I like and I decide I want to edit the text, now I have the option to create a new layer or to just edit this one. If I edit this layer, it gets rid of that old way of text, the old layer background. And then of course now I can make my adjustments to it. So there, we've made our adjustments. Of course, we can always hit our button and just restore that back to how it was. So that's one of the cool functionalities. Across it is you get a lot better previews out of the box. Another tool that used to not work, if you are familiar with it, is the Cage Transform tool. So the Cage Transform tool is where you would go ahead and just create a cage around your layer. I gotta remember how this works. All right, so you create a cage around your layer, and then you just can now grab your tools, and it's going to make adjustments on your layer here. So you can go ahead and do all sorts of things like this. Now, of course, this used to crash GIMP. If you were ever tried to use this, it always crashed GIMP before. So that's a cool function that is. It does now work. Now I want to go back and see if I can edit text now. Let's go ahead and edit. So that will actually get rid of everything that we did, but to edit the text. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that. There is another tool up here, the Uniform Transform tool. Let's see. Do I have an image? Let's go online and just grab an image. All right, I'm just going to go on to my website, and I'm just going to grab one of my banner images. If you want these images, by the way, just go right to the website. You can view the background image and save it. All right, so let's go ahead and just hide that layer. And then we're going to open as a layer. Go to desktop, distro. All right. So now we got this this image here. What your Uniform Transform tool allows you to do, whoa, I did it too fast. You want to click on your image, and then this gives you the ability to do just a ton of things simultaneously. So you have your big box, which allows you to scale it, and if I remember correctly, you can hold. Holding your Shift key will maintain your constraints, and your Control key will center it in and out from a different location. So that's one thing you can do with it. So you can scale that. The triangle inside that is a skew tool. I have no idea what this one is. Okay, so this is kind of wobbly. So what you can see here is that this one tool allows the functionality that you used to need 4 or 5 different tools to do. And the ability to render things is way, way, way better than it used to be. So this gives you, it just gives you the ability to see things a whole lot better, preview a whole lot better. You have to hit that transform key. Let me show you how you have to do that. So let's go ahead and do that. Wobble this around a little bit. Hit the transform button up here once you have it, and that should set it. So now we've kind of set that in there. So now we've got some text. Let's go ahead and drop that text layer over top there. All right. Okay, so another function is there is a new paintbrush tool. I got to remember where it is. I may not be able to find this one. I was reading about this one, watched a few videos on it, and I forgot to look for it before I started. But it gave you a lot more brush functions. It might be there somewhere. Someone might know where it is. Is Gaussian blur for drop shadows. Okay. All right. Oh, the foreground select tool. We'll go ahead and do that. I cannot find that other tool. It's here somewhere. There are a lot more brush options for people who use this to do drawing. Oh, my paintbrush tool. That's it. That's what I was looking for. All right. So this one here, you can grab your brush tool now. And inside your brush tool, you have a variety of different things. These are the types of things that Krita used to have. Of course, I think I still need to... Like I said, I haven't... figured out exactly how all this stuff works. Had to go into the background for that. So there we are. So now we have different brush strokes, which I believe this will bring in a lot more functionality for if you're using like a Wacom drawing tablet. You have the ability to do that. I'm vandalizing. Okay. Let's undo that because that image is too cool. All right, another text. Let's see. Let's grab. Let's just go ahead and import another copy of this one. We're going to go ahead and open as another layer. Open this guy up again. All right, so here what we're going to do is there is the background select tool. Where is it at? I am not used to all the new tools yet. Okay, foreground select tool. So what this is going to do is it's going to create a. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I gotta do that differently. Yeah. I forgot my first step on that one. All right. You have to draw it with a lasso kind of around the part that you're trying to do. Okay, reconnect those together. Oh. I might not be remembering how to do this part. Yeah, let's cancel that. I might have to read up on this tool again. What this is going to allow you to do is make a whole lot better selection points. And you can select portions out individually based on their color. What I'm not remembering is how to close this. Somebody probably already knows this, is telling me in the comments. There we are. All right. Select. Okay. I'll do that again. Okay. Got to push enter. That was the button I was missing. All right, so with that, then what we're going to do is you kind of draw around the various colors that you want to select automatically. Push select, and then what it's going to do is it's automatically going to look for all of the colors within that selection and allow you to select those. So in which case, what this is going to do, since there's so much black here and black in here, doesn't do quite as good of a job, but you can see what it did is did a really good job of selecting everything just around that frame. This is kind of like your fuzzy select tool, only it gives you the ability to first select the range around the fuzzy select tool first, and so it actually gives you a lot of good functionality in what it's going to select. So if I'll go ahead and copy this, paste another one. We'll just go ahead and move it. See what it copied. So you can see what it actually copied there. Add that to new layer. So you can see how good of a job that did at just pulling out just the little Linux Mint icon from that. So that's what that tool does. You can see it didn't do it exactly perfect. If I, set it over here, you can kind of see on the contrast that it didn't do an absolute perfect job, but that does a really good job of selecting everything within those color ranges. And you can do a little bit better job of moving around the color ranges to do that. Those are some of the, just some of the tools that they had. I'm going to have a look at the quick comments over here and see if anybody's asking for anything in particular. I'm not seeing anything in particular. All right, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, the gradients are quite a bit different now. All right, so now we have, with our gradients, when you select your gradient, and let's go ahead and go and find our gradient, and let's grab a custom, and I'm just going to pick 2 obnoxious colors. For my gradient there. All right, so now when you draw your gradient over, of course I have to be selecting what I want to select first. So let me actually go back down to this layer here. So if I select my gradient like this, now we have a whole lot better option to deal with your gradients. So you can actually drop it on here and drag where your various colorations and just do everything. You can basically run all of your tests right here live without having to do any guesswork. This is such an improvement over how the gradients worked. Also, you can see that you can click on the line, and that's going to give you another ability here to add another option. I think you can actually add another color to it. So let me see what happens if I do this. So now you can see that I'm going to grab a variety of different colors. So you can actually do a whole lot more gradient stuff right out of the box, including changing your various modes and things before you are actually applying it. So here's your radial. Square gradients, things like this. You can see the ability to actually do gradient-y type stuff. This is all greatly improved. Okay. And that's, I'm pretty sure that just kind of stays on there, so I can come back to it and adjust it a little bit later. So I guess there's another functionality. Of course, now that's a little annoying. I'm sure you can get rid of that. I just have to, well, I guess you can click it. Let's see how to apply that in the final thing. But anyway, you can kind of see what the gradients are doing there. Okay. All right. There we are. Just had to click off of it there to get that. So let's see. Going to have a look at the main scaling tool again. I really like how the scaling tool works now. I don't like that big grid that used to be on it. Scaling tool is just so much more improved. This is just gorgeous. I think I just got to throw this on my system. This is such an improvement. I kind of want to play with it for a few weeks and do my regular work with it with a few weeks and see how it works. But anyway, there's just a quick look. Like I said, this is not a comprehensive thing for the people saying there was a horrible review. This is not a review. This is just a quick look. I read a little bit of documentation, wanted to play around with a couple of the functions, highlight some of the newer tools. A lot of cool functions in this. Let's actually go ahead and end this with playing with this one here again. We're going to skew this out a little bit. Skew this in. Transform that guy. There we are. We're coming out of the gradient. All right. I think that's where we're going to kind of wrap this one up. So there is just a kind of brief notes about the new GIMP. This came out. I encourage you to grab the app image of it, install it, play around with it, see how this looks. I mean, I can't see a negative to this. This is amazing. This is a beautiful application. And maybe I'll do a more comprehensive review after I play with it for a few weeks, doing all the things that I usually do. I mean, everything I'm seeing on here, this is nice. I like it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Switched to Linux. If you'd like to help support the channel, check out the links at the top. There is another video over here. You can check out our Patreon page down here. And you can check out shop.switchtolinux.com for information on a t-shirt like this or some other designs. Thanks for watching and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.